As we've been reporting, the FBI executed a search today at an election hub in Fulton County, Georgia. A Fulton County official confirms the search is in connection with the 2020 presidential election. Georgia State Senator Josh McLaurin told reporters earlier that agents were there to find and take 700 boxes of ballots. You'll remember President Trump's call with Georgia's Secretary of State, allegedly pressuring him to, quote, find 11,780 votes following his narrow loss in 2020. Trump and several associates were later criminally charged for attempting to overturn the election results. That case was dropped last November. For more, let's bring in David Becker. He's a CBS News election law expert and political contributor and the executive director at the Center for Election Innovation and Research. So, David, during President Trump's first term, his own Justice Department found no evidence of widespread voter fraud in Georgia. So why is this search being executed now?
Boy, that's a great question, Lindsay. This has been well over 5 years since that November 2020 election. We should remember that Georgia has paper ballots statewide, as literally every single state does, other than Louisiana. 98% of people vote on paper ballots statewide. These are ballots that can be reviewable, recountable, and that's exactly what they did in Georgia. In just the month of November 2020, they counted every single paper ballot in the state of Georgia 3 times, 3 different ways, once entirely by hand with observers from both parties and campaigns. This election has been reviewed more than any election in world history, the Georgia election in particular, including by Trump-appointed judges, and we know the outcome. There's been over 5 years now, and only now are we seeing an attempt to seize these ballots, which have been preserved by court order over that time. But if the FBI and DOJ reviews these ballots, they'll find the exact same thing that every single court and every single review of these ballots has found, which is that Joe Biden legitimately won Georgia in 2020, just as Donald Trump legitimately won Georgia in 2024.
What does this mean for elections in Georgia and the nation going forward?
Well, I think there's some real concern with the timing and service of this warrant and the way that it was done. It doesn't appear to be related to any legitimate federal crime that could have been committed. And in fact, there's a federal statute of limitations on crimes of this sort that expires after 5 years. That 5-year period of time ended in November at the latest possible date, January 20th of this year, by any interpretation. So there's this big problem with any potential federal prosecution here, even if it wasn't supported only by conspiracy theories. But that might be exactly the point. We've seen allegations that the Office of Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard herself, was supposed to be down in Georgia for a press conference. It appears that might not be happening. And efforts along these lines make it appear as if this is more designed to amplify claims, disinformation, et cetera, that would make Americans distrust their own elections rather than actually pursue legitimate crimes that may have occurred. Again, the 2020 election has been reviewed and scrutinized more than any election in world history, and we do, in fact, know what happened in that election and that the election outcome was correct.
David Becker, we appreciate you. Thank you.